Iron Man 3 2013. After the alien invasion of New York in the Avengers, Tony Stark struggles with anxiety and sleepless nights. Haunted by memories of space and near death, he obsessively builds new Iron Man suits, trying to protect the world and the woman he loves, Pepper Potts. His fear of helplessness drives him deeper into isolation. Meanwhile, a mysterious terrorist known as the Mandarin begins broadcasting violent attacks across America. Explosions leave cities shaken and governments confused. As Tony watches the chaos unfold, he realizes a new threat is rising, one that challenges not only his armor, but his fragile state of mind. When Tony publicly threatens the Mandarin on live television, he makes himself a target. Soon after, his Malibu mansion is destroyed in a brutal missile attack. The house collapses into the ocean, and Tony barely escapes alive using an incomplete suit. Stranded in rural Tennessee with damaged armor and limited resources, he must rely on his intelligence instead of advanced technology. For the first time in years, Tony is cut off from his wealth and power. Injured and alone, he confronts vulnerability. Without his army of suits, he begins rediscovering the man beneath the metal. While investigating clues tied to the Mandarin's attacks, Tony uncovers a connection to a secret military experiment called Extremis. The unstable program enhances human abilities, but causes deadly explosions when subjects cannot control the power. In Tennessee, Tony meets a young boy named Harley who helps him repair his armor and regain confidence. Through their unlikely friendship, Tony reconnects with his humanity. Instead of hiding behind sarcasm, he opens up about fear and responsibility. As he follows the Extremis trail, he learns the Mandarin may not be the true mastermind behind the terror. Back in Washington, Happy Hogan is severely injured in an explosion linked to Extremis. Pepper grows increasingly worried about Tony's recklessness. Meanwhile, scientist Aldrich Killian emerges, claiming to represent a think tank called Advanced Idea Mechanics. Killian offers Pepper an opportunity to expand her scientific work, but his true motives remain hidden. Tony begins to suspect that Killian is orchestrating events from the shadows. As tension builds, it becomes clear that Extremis is more than an experiment, it is a weapon. The line between terrorism and corporate ambition blurs dangerously. Tony eventually infiltrates the Mandarin's compound, prepared for a climactic battle. However, he discovers a shocking truth. The Mandarin is merely an actor named Trevor Slattery, hired to play the role of a terrifying terrorist. The real villain is Killian, who manipulated global fear to cover his own agenda. Killian intends to use Extremis to control political power and eliminate opposition. The revelation shakes Tony's understanding of the threat. Deception runs deeper than he imagined. The enemy is not a foreign extremist, but a calculated businessman fueled by resentment. Killian captures Pepper and injects her with Extremis, planning to use her as leverage. He also kidnaps the president, intending to execute him publicly to solidify his power. Tony, determined to save both Pepper and the country, calls upon his remote-controlled Iron Legion suits. Despite his anxiety, he takes command with renewed focus. The battle escalates aboard an oil tanker platform, where flames and falling debris create chaos. Tony faces enhanced Extremis soldiers who regenerate from injury. For every suit destroyed, another arrives, symbolizing Tony's refusal to surrender. As the fight intensifies, Tony realizes his suits are tools, not his identity, that he improvises, using strategy rather than brute strength. Rhodey, now operating as Iron Patriot, helps rescue the president. Meanwhile, Tony confronts Killian directly. The Extremis-enhanced villain proves nearly unstoppable, overpowering Tony repeatedly. Explosions tear through the structure, sending both men crashing through fire and steel. In a desperate moment, Tony risks everything to protect Pepper, showing that his greatest strength is not technology, but loyalty and love. Pepper, transformed by Extremis, unexpectedly gains control of her powers. When Killian threatens Tony's life, she intervenes. In a dramatic reversal, Pepper defeats Killian using both strength and courage. The villain's ambition collapses in flames, ending his plan for domination. As emergency crews arrive, Tony embraces Pepper, relieved and humbled. The battle proves that heroes are not defined by armor alone. Pepper's survival gives Tony hope. reminding him that partnership is stronger than isolation. Together, they face the aftermath of destruction. In the days following the battle, Tony makes a life-changing decision. He destroys his remaining Iron Legion suits in a spectacular fireworks display, symbolizing freedom from obsession. He chooses to undergo surgery to remove the shrapnel near his heart, no longer dependent on the arc reactor to survive. By letting go of constant fear, Tony begins healing emotionally as well as physically. He acknowledges that trauma shaped him, but does not control him. Growth replaces anxiety, and clarity replaces chaos. Tony concludes by reflecting on his journey. Though he may not wear the suit every day, he knows he will always be Iron Man. Identity comes from courage, innovation, and heart, not armor. Pepper stands beside him as he looks toward the future with renewed balance. The events of the past have tested his mind and spirit, but they also strengthened him. In facing fear without hiding behind technology, Tony Stark proves that the man inside the suit is the true hero.